Hey you guys, welcome back to another yoga class with me. I'm Karan with Common Bond Yoga in Springfield, Oregon, and I'm very happy to be here. Today, my intention is to create somewhere around a 30-minute class for you where we are focusing on shoulder strength and hoping to improve your posture, the stability in your shoulders, reduce any pain and strain around the shoulders and the neck. But it's not gonna be super duper easy. We are gonna work and then we'll take some time at the end to stretch and release and everything like that. So I'm gonna have us start by standing at the top of the mat. Oh, and what I would like for you to have for today's class, if it's possible for you, 2 blocks and either a band or a strap. Okay, so go ahead and grab that stuff. You can press pause and then come back to your mat and stand up really tall. So I like to start with my feet a little bit wider than hip distance apart and just wiggle out any tension or stress you might be holding on to. Start to think about your posture. And just having the thought of standing up taller will typically bring you into better posture just by having that thought. But also start to think about the shape of your spine, how you have a gentle curve in your low back, and how you have that curve in the neck. And because so many of us do have our heads forward and our shoulders forward, you might need to think about bringing your shoulders back and turning your arm bones so the palms face forward, so the heart is opened up. And then with the neck, we just want to tuck the chin or retract the chin back and in. We don't drop the head. We just bring the chin in like you're giving yourself a double chin and reach upward through the crown of your head. Begin to slow down your breath. So you might close your eyes and rock back and forth or side to side a few times. Make sure your knees are soft. Make sure that your belly is pulled in. So we are keeping our core muscles. We're starting to engage our core muscles to support us in this better posture. And then just take a few big deep breaths in and fill up your lungs and let your rib cage expand. Let your shoulders rise up towards your ears. And as you exhale, let your shoulders fall. Feel your navel draw back and in towards the spine and feel your rib cage drop. Feel your lungs empty. Inhale and expand. And exhale. Couple more breaths like that. So while we want to create strength and while we want to be in better posture in our body, we want to do it in a way that we are not tense and stiff. So you should be able to feel this pulsation happening in your body as you breathe throughout your entire class today. And then go ahead and softly open up your eyes. We're going to do some shoulder circles by bringing your thumbs to your shoulders. This is something I like to do throughout the day as I feel stiff in my shoulders. So soft knees, we're going to draw big circles on the inhale. Bring your elbows up and around. And as you exhale, bring your elbows back and down. And do that again. Inhale. Big, huge circles. Exhale to the bottom. Fill up your lungs. And into your lungs. And then take that around the opposite direction. Inhale around the back and up. Exhale to the front. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And all the while, keeping that alignment in the neck, take the arms up over your head. And as you exhale, let's just bend over to the left. You can put your left hand on your hip if you want. You can stretch your hand down towards the floor. Imagine you've got your fingers pressed against a wall on your left side and really strengthen, pull energy back down the arm to that shoulder. And on your inhale, reach both arms up overhead and bend over to the right. You can look up underneath your arm if you want. Inhale, back up to center. Bend over to the left side again. This time we're going to add a little twist. So on your inhale, twist up, turn the chest up. So you're kind of reaching back behind you a little more. And then as you exhale, reach in front of you and cross over to the left corner of the room. On your inhale, twist open. Exhale, reach over, stretch. Inhale. And exhale, reach. Come back to center. Inhale and bend over to the right. Inhale, twist open. Exhale, reach over to the right corner. Inhale. So again, the whole time you feel like you're kind of pressing your hand into something and really feeling that deep stretch all the way through the left side, under the arm, through the arm. Inhale, both arms up overhead. Bring your hands behind your head for some standing cat and cow. On your inhale, take a back bend. This should feel really good. Open up your elbows really wide. Look up and try to touch the ceiling with your chest. As you exhale, soften your knees and round your back, especially through your upper back, elbows in. Inhale, open wide. Lean back, strong legs. Exhale, and bring the head down, chin to the chest. Inhale, one more time. Open, 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 open up, even wider this time. And as you exhale, this time bend your knees and come all the way down into a forward fold. And you can keep your hands behind your head and just rock from side to side. And then grab onto your elbows. And just let your shoulders just drop towards the ears. So you're not trying to force them down your back. We're going to do some circles here. So take your body over to the right leg and then circle. Inhale all the way up. Keep holding onto those elbows and really stretch the elbows high at the top. Exhale and circle down to the left. Inhale, come up to the right. Feel that nice stretch here at the top. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. And exhale, circle down and around. And let's do that to the other side. So left side, circle up. So really just kind of getting everything warmed up for a little more strength here in a minute for those shoulders. Good. So once you've done 3 to each side, bring your block underneath you. And on an inhale, come up halfway and put your block on whatever height you want it to be on. And I want you to push your hands into your block. Strong, straight arms. Long, straight spine. So chin is in, reach out through the top of your head. And as you exhale, forward fold. Do that 2 more times. Inhale, halfway lift. Really push your hands into the block. Exhale, forward fold. One more time. Inhale, lift halfway. And fold. Now hold on to the block with one of your hands, and we're going to come all the way up to standing. Any way you want to come up. You can stretch your arms over your head if you want. And then bring the block out in front of you with both of your hands and press the block in so that your hands are shoulder distance apart. And press your hands into the block. Now, something else you can do if you feel like your arms want to be a little bit wider, especially as we take the arms overhead in a second, you can also take 2 blocks and press them together if you want, like that. Okay? And so just try to squeeze and squeeze and squeeze. And now, as you're standing here and you're pressing your block, I want you to think about where you want your shoulders to be. And I'll just show you by going to the 2 extremes of shoulders being all the way forward here, shoulders being all the way back here, and you want to go right in the middle and hold them there, okay? Keep squeezing your block and then take your arms up over your head. This is going to be hard. You may not go all the way up overhead. This is where you might want to have 2 blocks. And then as you exhale, bend over to the right and keep squeezing the blocks. Keep breathing. On your inhale, come up, and then exhale, bend to the left, squeeze the blocks. You can think about bringing the shoulders down now, away from the ears. Inhale, and come up. And as you exhale, we're going to come forward, 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 all the way back down into a fold. And on an inhale, lift halfway. And as you exhale, we're going to step back into a tabletop. And we're going to do something similar with the blocks here, where instead of holding the blocks between the palms, we're going to hold the blocks like this between the index fingers and the thumbs. And so I find that for my shoulder distance, it's best to have 2 blocks like this. So try to create that distance for your hands, and then really squeeze the block. So do the same thing you were doing standing, but now you're in tabletop. Okay, squeeze in, breathe, And now tuck your toes and lift up for hovering tabletop. Now keep squeezing, keep hugging in. What I want you to think about here is that in this position, you're pressing the tops of your shoulder blades apart and you're bringing the bottom tips of your shoulder blades towards one another. Breathe and hold. And now keep the same action in your arms and slowly push all the way back into a downward facing dog pose. So again, squeeze the blocks between your index fingers and your thumbs. You might feel as though you're externally rotating your arm bones, especially your upper arm bones, your biceps, out away from your ears. Press the tops of your shoulder blades apart and bring the bottom tips together. Keep breathing. And then inhale, come forward to a plank position. Do the same thing. Push down with your hands. Fingers are spread, but squeeze the hands together. That's that action when I talk about pressing the tops of the shoulder blades apart and bringing the bottom tips together. The squeezing in is more going to pronounce the action of the bottom tips, the shoulder blades squeezing together. Now you can do this on your knees or on your toes. We're just holding and breathing. And then go ahead and bring your knees down. Pull your blocks out of the way for just a moment. Come back into a plank or a modified plank, and we're going to lower as slowly as we can all the way down to our belly. But what I want you to imagine is that you still have the blocks between your hands, okay? So squeeze in, and then as slow as you can, so knees or toes. Don't let your shoulders hunch forward or go too far back. Lower all the way down. All right, now make a little room for yourself, for your arms to go in different directions here. We're going to do some back extensions with different arm positions for the shoulders, especially the backs of the shoulders. So we're going to start in a T position. So arms out wide, thumbs pointed straight up at the ceiling. Bring your forehead down onto the mat. Press the tops of your feet down into the floor. Pull the belly in, and on an inhale, lift up, squeeze. And as you exhale, lower down. Inhale, arms stay straight. Bring your shoulders and your arms back. Exhale, lower down. Do that again. So we're strengthening the spine, but we're also strengthening the backs of the arms, the triceps, the shoulders. Again, inhale, lift. As you're coming up, try not to jut your chin forward. Keep that chin retracted. Now, pause for just a moment. Forehead down on the mat, and then bring your arms now into a Y shape. So you're bringing your arms up a little wider, and they're coming out like a Y from the rest of your body. Thumbs pointed up, press your feet down, inhale, lift. Should feel a little bit harder. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift, shoulders back, and lower down. You may not be lifting as high as I am right now. Lift. It's not about how high you come up. 2 more. Inhale. Lower down. And last one with the arms in this shape. Lower down. Now, bring your arms forward. This is the hardest one, I will admit. It's hard for me too. Press your feet down into the floor. Now we're in an I shape. Thumbs pointed straight up at the ceiling. On your inhale, lift up and lower down. Lift up. Make sure you're not pulling yourself up with your neck. And lower. Just a few more. Inhale. Come up and hold. And release down. Bring your hands in line with your chest. Hug your elbows in. Imagine that your chest is that block. I want you to squeeze in, pull the belly in, and push up and press back into a child's pose. Forehead to the mat. You can put your elbows down on the mat and put your hands on the back of the neck or the upper back between the shoulder blades. Take some big deep breaths here. Breathe into your shoulders. Backs of the lungs, sides of the lungs. Come up to your hands and your knees. Imagine that block between your hands. Squeeze it, lift the knees, go back to downward facing dog. Now, what I'm going to do from down dog is I'm going to walk to the back of my mat, and I've conveniently placed my strap there or my band there. And so I want you to have your band with you. So find your way eventually to standing. And it doesn't really matter if you're at the back or the front of your mat. Okay, so I'm going to grab this. Now, you can do the same action, the same movement with your strap. That's not going to be as, stretchy. And your arms just won't move quite as much, okay? So in this first part, when we were standing at the top of the mat, we were hugging the block, right? And taking it up overhead. And that was the action of the shoulder blades coming together, the bottom tips. Now we're going to pull, and that's going to be the action of the tops of the shoulder blades coming apart. So bring the arms up over your head, and then pull your strap, but keep your arms totally straight. Remember, the shoulders aren't up. The shoulders aren't too far back. The arms aren't behind the head. They're straight up over your head, and maybe even slightly out in front if that feels better to you. Now keep pulling on your strap. Take an inhale and slowly exhale. You almost feel like your elbows are bent a little bit here because you want to be pulling the band apart with your shoulders and your back muscles more than your arms. Come back up, inhale. And exhale, bend over to the left. Strong, strong legs here. Now, come back up, and we're going to do some lat pull downs from here. So you're going to bring that band slightly out in front of you now. Keep pulling on the band, and then pull, soften your knees, pull the band to your chest, pull your elbows wider, and squeeze your elbows in on your inhale. So you might readjust the exhale, squeeze where your hands are on the band. And of course, if you have a strap, your arms aren't going to come as far apart, but you've got that same action of pulling apart the whole time you're pulling down, squeeze. Now, what I don't want you to do here is as you're pulling the band down that you're not sticking your butt way out like this. You're not arching your back. You want to keep that belly pulled in. Inhale, arms up, exhale. Don't let the band just pop back up in the air. Slowly bring the arms back up. Exhale, squeeze it down. Let's do one more like that. Inhale, exhale, squeeze it down. And then reach the arms up. And go ahead and release the strap and come down into a forward fold. Shake it out. On your inhale, lift halfway up. And on your exhale, walk forward to a plank position or a modified plank position by bringing your knees down. Imagine that block. Do have a block near you. We're going to be using it again in a second. Now stay in a plank, but bring your forearms one at a time down to the mat. Now imagine that block again here between your thumbs and your index fingers. So you feel like you're pressing the forearms together, but bringing the biceps out away from your ears, or hug the tops of the shoulder blades apart, bottoms together. Lower down. Take a little bit of a Sphinx pose here. Pull your chest through your arms. Breathe. Stretch your legs back out of your hips. And then lower all the way down and grab a block. Bring it out in front of you. And press your palms into the block over your head. So this is kind of like the eye that we were doing a second ago. Now we have the block. We're going to press our hands into it. Tops of the feet down on the mat. On your inhale, lift everything up. Now keep squeezing the block. And then take the block in your right hand. Sweep it behind your back. Bring your left arm back to meet it. Grab it with your left hand. Bring the block forward. And squeeze the block with both hands. Now do that coming around to the left. Left arm brings the block around. Grab it with your right hand. Bring it forward. Lots of control here. We're going nice and slow. One more time each direction. Right. Woo! Knocked my water over. Sorry, scared my dog. Bring the block back. And around. and let it go. Oh my goodness. That is hard. Breathe, let it go. You can keep the block in your hands, scoot your elbows back, come up to your knees, press back into another child's pose this time. Keep pressing the block and bring the block to your upper back. Might walk your elbows a little more forward. Come up to your hands and your knees. All right. Let's take it back into downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, you're either going to step or you're going to walk, or you're going to practice hopping lightly. And when you hop, you want to keep your arms straight and strong and hop your hips up to come forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Come all the way to standing strong legs. Inhale. Bring your hands to your heart. Tadasana. Okay, bring your hands to your hips. Let's do a little balance here. Give the arms a break for just a second. Step into your left leg. Come into tree pose. Bring your right foot to your ankle, your calf, or your upper inner thigh. And take a second to just get stable in the hips. Feel as though you're lifting up the crown of your head towards the sky. Keep breathing. You can always put your hand on something for a little extra support in your balance. Take your arms up overhead. Cactus your arms. Bring your elbows in, shoulders down the back. And now you might want your band or your strap here. You're going to flip the arms over, bring the hands behind the back, and interlace your fingers together, or grab your band or your strap. Now keep your elbows soft. Don't lock your elbows out like this. Keep the elbows soft. Keep pulling the shoulders back. Keep the belly lifted. Keep your hips forward. Step back to warrior one pose. So place that back foot flat. Left hip back, right hip forward. We're getting a nice opener here for the front of the shoulders and the chest, part of the body that's often very tight and makes that rounded forward posture stay with us for a lot longer if we don't stretch it out. Now we're going to start coming forward. If you want, you can come forward or you can stay upright. As I come down here into humble warrior, keep the shoulders back, keep the chin retracted, breathe into the chest. Now slowly come back up and release your arms. Take the arms up over your head. We're going to step all the way up and come into eagle pose. So slowly shift your weight, pick up your right knee, cross your right elbow under your left elbow, cross your right knee over your left knee. You can always put your toes down, your right toes down on the mat. Bring your elbows down, chin in. Breathe. Breathe around the shoulders. Breathe around the upper back. Now slowly unravel, lift the leg, and step all the way back into a high lunge. Exhale, release the hands down to the mat. Step back into plank. Now, we're going to roll over onto the left side for side plank. You can always put your knee down and come into it this way, or straighten the legs. Do what works best for you. Stay lifted out of your left shoulder. Push your hand down into the floor. Use your side muscles, your hips, your obliques, and your legs. And now we're going to bring the right forearm down. So we're going onto the other side, but instead of the hand, we're going to bring the forearm down. Right shoulder back and down, hips lifted. I'm going to add on my reach through so you can bring your left foot out in front if you want. Exhale, reach underneath you with your left hand. Inhale, open. Exhale, reach through. Inhale, open. Last time, reach through and open. And now bring both forearms down onto the mat. Walk forward for Dolphin Pose. You can certainly put a block between your thumbs and your index fingers here. Same feeling of hugging in with the forearms. Spread the tops of your shoulder blades apart. Breathe. If you'd like to, lift your right leg up. Maybe come up higher on your left toes. Stack the joints. Bring your right foot down, lift your left foot up. And bring your left foot down. Gently come to the knees. Child's pose. Pause. Relax. Breathe. Bring your hands out in front of you. Come up to your hands and your knees. Go back into your downward facing dog. Take a couple breaths. Lift your heels, step, walk, or float to come forward. On your inhale, lift halfway. On your exhale, fold. Come all the way to standing. And bring your hands to your heart. Tadasana. Let's do that on the other side. So now I'm going to stand into my right leg, and I'm going to bring my left foot up for tree. Remember, you don't want to put your foot on your knee. Somewhere on the leg, just not the knee. Press your foot into your leg. Press your leg back into your foot. Bring your arms up, and then begin to squeeze the elbows in, shoulders down the back. Bring your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers the opposite way. Maybe grab your strap here. Soft elbows, belly pulled in. Step back to your warrior one, slowly with control. Left hip back, right hip forward. Lift your chest. So remember, you can stay here. You can test your balance and your hip strength by bending forward and coming into humble warrior this way. Tuck the chin, breathe into the chest. Energetically pull your heels together. And now push into your feet and come all the way up. Release your arms. And now start to bring your weight into your right leg. Lift your left knee up. Cross your left elbow under your right elbow and sit down for eagle pose. Left knee over right knee, left elbow under right elbow. Your hands can always go to your shoulders here as well. Pull your elbows down, nice straight spine here. Chin tucked, full breath. Soften where you can. Unravel. Step back. Take one more big breath in. Bring your hands down. Let's step back into a plank position. Imagine that block between your hands. And let's roll over to our right side, Bashistasana. Side plank, straight arm, lift your hips high. Breathe. Take any expression you want to here. You can try lifting up that top leg. Bring your left forearm down. Roll over. Lift up. On your exhale, reach through. Inhale, open. Exhale, reach through. Inhale, open. Last time. Open it up. Bring both forearms down to the mat. Stay here, breathe. And lower down to your belly. Bring your right arm out to the right. Bend your left knee, roll towards your right arm. Get a nice deep stretch here. You can take your left arm back as well. So breathe deeply, like you're trying to stretch your chest and the front of your right shoulder with your breath. And roll onto your belly and take your left arm over to the left. Do the same thing on the other side. And then roll onto your belly. Hands in line with your chest. Just push yourself up. And we are going to finish with a supported heart opener here. So I want you to take one block, place it on the medium setting, and that part of the block is going to rest just below your shoulder blades. And then the other block on the high setting is where your head's going to rest. And you might even have extra blocks around you to support under your knees. So sometimes this takes a second to kind of go, okay, where am I putting the blocks here so that I feel the most supported? And I really like taking this posture with my feet together and the knees open in a reclining butterfly pose. You might put blankets underneath your thighs or blocks underneath your thighs. Of course, if you get to a point where you're like, this is not comfortable at all, you can do the same thing with blankets or bolster underneath you, just to give you a very, very gentle heart opener. And you can also take a traditional Shavasana. So I believe we've reached 30 minutes of our asana practice. And now what I'd like for you to do is give yourself at least a couple more minutes right here. And if you have longer than a couple more minutes, take it and just let yourself go. Let yourself be still, soft, easy, relaxed.